Hey, this is Danko Jones, and you're watching Metalkrant.
Hi Danko, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you.
taking time out for this interview.
No problem.
So since this is a rescheduled show, could you explain a little bit what happened last time?
Pretty much lost my voice. Nothing really. It was laryngitis, the doctor, and it was due to exhaustion. But I really understand why. Without going into specifics, there was a lot of we were early lobby calls, basically not enough sleep, and jet lag right off the top of the tour. And the Amsterdam show was the fourth show into the tour. And the first couple of days that we were here in Europe, the schedule just didn't permit me to sleep enough. And for the layperson, even people in bands, a lot of people in bands don't understand that the singer in a band has to have at least 7 to 10 hours sleep a night. And if you don't get that, it just compounds until your voice just eventually shuts down. It has nothing to do with diet, health, age, anything. It's just simple matter of fact. You're done. It's never happened to me before, but I never went through those factors before that led to it. So something we won't do again. And hopefully I can keep my voice. But I don't have any worries about it. We finished the end of the tour. We canceled 2 dates, Amsterdam and Wiesbaden. We honored those dates yesterday and today. And after that, and then we just finished the run. We still kept going. My voice snapped back. And we started off again in Leipzig. After these canceled dates, we went from Leipzig to the end of the tour. And then went back home and then did 18 dates in Canada. So we're all good. It's not a big red flag. But when you cancel a show, which we don't usually do ever, that's people want to know why suddenly that happens. So, and Amsterdam is a city, a place that we definitely don't want to cancel a show in, and only would if I can't sing.
Thank you. So besides having obviously rescheduled, have you got anything special planned to make it up to your Dutch fans around the Amsterdam area?
We're going to play a rock show. I mean, I don't know what else. What was hand out candy or something? No, but I mean, in terms of the set list, we've added a few songs that we weren't playing in March. 4 songs we weren't playing in March, so there's that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we like to juggle the set around, and so that's what we're doing for this time around. So it's a different show than it would have been in March anyways. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's two sides of the same coin. So.
Well, the show's got to be awesome either way, I guess.
Hopefully,
so, yeah,
thank you.
Should be. So you have released your new album, Fire Music, earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
For those who haven't heard it yet, how would you describe it?
Every band says that their new album is their best album, and we've heard it all before. However, having said that, judging by the reviews, which I never read, I just look at if there's a 4 out of 5, like if there's a rating system or something, and from the general feedback we've been getting, it's been pretty much 98% positive, which is something we are not used to. Most of the time when we put out albums, we get a C+, a pat on the back. And for this album, it's been really pretty much across the board. Everybody's really, really liked the entire album. A lot of times when we put out records, people point out certain songs. But for this one, I've noticed, especially now, social media lets you know people instantly what they're thinking, and they're enjoying the album. So that's nice. And we kind of knew that when we got out of the studio this time around. Like, a lot of times when we come out of the studio, I always love the albums we put out, or else we wouldn't put it out. But there is a voice in the back of my head going, I hope people dig it as much as I do. But for this one, it was the first time the voice in my head was just saying, like, when is it going to be out? I just want people to hear it now. And that's a good thing. I was really anxious for it to come out, and we had to wait, you know. The moment we finished mastering it to the release, or the first taste, was, you know, at least 4 months. So it's just like sitting here waiting, people asking you about your new album, you're like, oh man, I just can't wait till you hear it. And you hear that from bands, but I really meant it, you know, so there's, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the strongest aspect of the album?
Well, this one we really wore our punk rock roots, specifically the Misfits, on our sleeves. And when we went into pre-production meetings with our producer of this album, Eric Ratz, Eric asked us, you know, like, well, you know, what are the songs? He hadn't heard any of the songs yet. Like, what are the demos sounding like? And we just said, I don't know if this is a good thing for you, but we're going Misfits. It's always been an influence on us, and we've kind of on the sly put it into some of our songs over the years, and some people have decoded it, but this time we really wore it on our sleeve and just went for it. We just let it go. You know, there's been on our older albums, you know, To Friends, I would point out, well, that's taken from this song off the Misfits, and this is a Danzig kind of thing. And so for this one, we just like let it all hang. And
That was actually going to be one of my questions. So what made you decide to go this direction now, particularly with this album?
It had been a build-up, you know. Like I said, on previous albums, we had put that Misfits influence out there. I mean, Glenn Danzig is like, you know, one of my favorite musicians and singers and songwriters, and always thought that, you know, our band was definitely, there was a bridge there because of our fandom for his music. It influenced our music so much. It influenced me when I first started writing songs when I was a teenager. They were just like half-assed Misfit ripoffs. So that's already cemented. That's the sediment of just how I write songs or riffs personally. So it was also a very easy album to write because of that background and history. And once me and JC looked at each other and we just said, let's do it. Let's fucking make this thing a Misfits type record. Not all the songs are, but there's a good 6 songs that are heavily influenced by Glenn Danzig. And those are very easy to write, because that's how I started writing songs when I was a teenager, and you'd write stupid songs or whatever. I was all just trying to, you know, write songs like Legacy of Brutality or, you know, Earth AD or stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you. So it's also the new record, the first record even, you've released with Rich Knox, your new drummer.
Yeah.
What influence does he bring to your music and your live performance?
Well, first of all, live-wise, we can finally play songs that we couldn't for the past 2 years with our last drummer, who couldn't really pull it off properly. That's not a diss on him, it's just a fact. Another thing that our last drummer did was bring in a rack tom that was part of his drum set, which is something we've never had any drummer do. And when we approached him and we said, look, the tradition in this band is no rack tom, he said, that's not going to happen. So, okay, fine. In an effort to make him feel welcome in the band, ingratiate ourselves, we let it go. And for this time for Rich, he actually said, I don't want to use the rack tom. I want to go back to how your older drummers played the drums. And that was something that was awesome, because it showed that he was, you know, really wanted to be part of the band as opposed to be the showcase of the band, which is, anyways. But that was great, live-wise. So now we can properly play songs like Full of Regret, which we couldn't for 2 years. But now we can, which is great. And on the album, his influence is evident on the first single of the album. He came up with that drum pattern. He sent it to us via email. And then when we all got together to play, that song came out in like 15 minutes. It just wrote itself, you know, with the drum pattern he had come up with. So that's a proactive way of doing things that no drummer in this band has ever been able to do. So that was great. So his influence is definitely felt on the record.
Sounds great. So there seems to be a big contrast for you guys between 2014 and 2015 tour-wise, whereas there's not been as much touring last year as there seemed to be this year.
Well, last year we were making this record, so this year we're touring this record. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So what is the contrast like for you?
I'm a homebody. I like being home. You know, more so than I think a lot of people would think, or more so than people would ever guess. I can stay still in this chair for 12 hours straight. I don't have to get out. But that's just me. And you let it out on stage. You know, you let all that energy built up on stage. But being on the road is also, it's been my life for 15, 16 years. We've been doing this, you know, constantly. So it's something that I'm also used to. A lot of bands, they say once they get off the road, they don't know what to do. They go stir crazy and they're depressed. I got over that a long time ago. I can get off the road and it's seamless. The next day I'm waking up early, taking out the trash and, you know, doing the dishes. I don't have any problem staying at home. And then being on the road, we've managed to get to a certain point or certain level where, you know, we're not sleeping on people's floors anymore. So it's a little easier that way. Sometimes we tour on buses, and that's easy. And, you know, it's just an easier way of touring. It allows for you to tour longer and to keep morale up. There's a lot of psychological things that, you know, you want to keep morale up so you can tour longer. You want to keep health up, stamina up, you know, so you can keep touring. So there's a lot of things that have to be, you know, we've been doing this for, you know, next year it'll be 2 decades. Not a lot of bands get to that point.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, I'm Mr. Crust Punk and I can, you know, I'm, you know, we gotta, in order to keep it going, we gotta keep doing this. You know, when we first started out, we were exactly like all those new bands going, yeah, we just give us a place to play and a place to stay, and we're there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Have place. You know, we'll travel. So you know, that's how we keep doing things. So the transition between an off year like 2014, where we did a few shows, and this year where there's going to be a lot of shows, yeah, there's a difference. But I mean, it's been that kind of cycle's been part of my life for, you know, over 15 years now. So it's nothing that I'm not in shock.
Okay, that's good, I think.
Yeah.
So you have played quite a few shows in the Netherlands
Sure.
before.
Yeah.
If you can name one, what would be your favorite place in this country?
Wow. Well, you know, I'd have to say Amsterdam. We're here today, and we actually lived here in Jordan for a brief period of time in 2008. So we know this city the most. But, you know, Holland is compared to Canada, it's for us, it seems like a very small country. So, you know, you can get around, you know, Rotterdam and all that stuff. But I would say that, you know, this is the Dutch city that I've spent the most time in. You know.
Yeah. So you also played a few shows here at the Melkweg before.
A lot of shows, yeah.
Have you got an ultimate memory formed in this place?
Yeah, there's a few over the years. There was one time I played a full show with the flu, and I could barely stand up. And that was, I cite that as the one show I've ever done where I faked it. And when I say faked it, I mean I put on a smile and I pretended to enjoy myself when all I wanted to do was crawl into bed and throw up. And I did it. So I did it on this stage in this room that we're playing tonight. And that was in, God, I want to say 2003.
It's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
it was a long time ago. But I did it. I'm very proud of myself for doing it too.
Can imagine.
Yeah, and then there's been times where we've, We played this kind of garage festival within the Milkveg with the Dirt Bombs, and I think Lucifer were playing, and it was in both rooms, and it was kind of like this festival of rock and roll. That was kind of cool. And then I've actually seen a lot of shows here too, like, you know, living here and then going to the Milkveg. I saw the Butthole Surfers play with the School of Rock. That was a pretty cool show. I saw the Raconteurs here. I saw Ice Cube here. I saw No Means No here. Rob Wright gave us a shout out. I saw the Bronx and Off here. I've probably seen a few other. Oh, Broken Social Scene. I bumped into them on the street, and I used to live with Brendan, who's in the band, and I didn't know he was here, so I ended up hanging out there. There's been so many of these kinds of moments directly connected with this venue. It's been a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So you've also got a show at Boss Pop coming up?
Yeah.
Well, have you got further festival plans for 2015?
Yeah, there's a few that haven't been announced yet, but Boss Pop has, and we've played Boss Pop 2 times before, and they were both very memorable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So coming back to the almost 2 decades of Danko Jones, have you got anything planned, any special plans for your anniversary?
No, I think we blew our whole thing 3 years ago when we put out a DVD and we put out a book that basically took care of all that. It was an oral history on the band, and there's like 76 people that were interviewed, and it's an oral history, so it's just basic quotes that pretty much make up the book. Everyone from Lemmy to Eddie Spaghetti to I don't know, Peaches to Elijah Wood, David Vincent. They're all in it. You know, it was really
wide variety of people as well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that everybody kind of participated and stuff.
Awesome. So besides music, what are your plans for the future? Can we expect another spoken word store or any other plans with writing or podcasts?
Right. Well, the podcast I do every 2 weeks. I upload another episode, and right now, as of this interview, we're up to 99. So number 99, episode 99 is with Barrett Martin, who was the drummer in Screaming Trees and Mad Season, and he's also in Walking Papers and Tuatara with Peter Buck from REM. And so we've had this is his 3rd time on, and so that's 99. So now the next episode is 100, and that is kind of commemorate the podcast. So I have that done already, and that'll be uploaded on May 30th, and it's just going to be a look back on the 99 episodes. We had all kinds of ideas for it, but in the end, I just did a retrospective podcast episode. So I do that every 2 weeks. I still write for Close Up magazine in Sweden, which is a metal magazine, and Rock Zone magazine in Spain, which is kind of an alternative rock magazine. They cover a lot of bases: punk rock, metal, emo, screamo, and pop rock, and everything in between. So I do a monthly column for them as well. And then I'm working on something, I'm working on kind of trying to compile all the articles I've been writing since '05 into one kind of, I don't know if it's a book or I don't know what it'll be, but I'm trying to do something with that. Who knows? I don't know. But, the one thing I put the most time in outside of the band is the podcast. I find it, it's a labor of love. It's fun to do, and it's just, if I would have a side project like other people form bands, I did a podcast.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem.